It is recording, yes. Hello and welcome to I'll say part two of the Olivia Newton-John singles, even if I've gone backward, but the argument is that everything I do is backward. I didn't think I had enough of the picture sleeve singles to do. I thought I had just a couple, and then I looked and it's like, oh, I do have more than that. I think I'll start with 1978. I can't resist reading it like this. So totally hot. It's an MCA record, so I think it's USA. So this one is from the USA. It was sort of like, I remember at the time, I didn't really I knew of the country type stuff, and I knew of probably the one that I want, but then after that, I didn't sort of realise or know or whatever that she'd done some stuff between then and physical. I sort of knew about Xanadu, but for me, there was almost like this gap, and I had no idea she did the Totally Hot LP. So now I did, or now I did, then I did, but that was it. And speaking of You're the One That I Want, here it is, sponsored by Pepsi. I can't see which country this is from. I got a bunch of records from France and some from Yugoslavia and stuff like that. So it might be from that, but they obviously needed Pepsi's help to press the thing, I guess. But I remember at school or an Archie comic or something like that, when I read that, I remember them referring to him as John Revolta. John Revolta and Olivia Neutron Bomb was how we used to refer to them as. And next to... Oh, I need to get a better copy of this. Ooh, I do too. Well, the things you discover when you're going back through your records. This is terrible condition. Xanadu. Even though I kind of thought it was Xanadu. Xanadu. I think at the time I didn't know how to pronounce the thing. Yes, Xanadu as opposed to Xanadon't. That's something else, actually. Does Xanadu? No, Xanadon't. And I always was impressed by that last note that she did in that song too. She's just like, she gets has a really, really brilliant last note, really high. And kudos to her for being able to do that, because not a lot of singers would have been able to do that. But then you get your whistle notes, that Mariah Carey type whistle note, but no thanks. Can do without that. And next up after that is another thing from Xanadu, and that's a little bit of magic. Not whoa ho ho, it's magic. No, not that kind of magic. This is the Olivia version. Once again from Xanadu. Have to believe we are... I love the song. Do you know, I don't think I've ever seen the movie. Just thought of that. I don't think I've ever seen the movie. And the other problem, there seemed to... Oh, and you can see it here. One of the problems that, for whatever reason, singles were pressed, instead of wrapping around, the sides were glued, and it was just... And what would happen is... It hasn't happened on here. But what would happen is that it would sort of come unstuck on your record. And I've got a Paul Young single that happened to. And it just was like, you'd be kind of ripping off the beginning of your single. Sounds weird out of context. You're ripping off the beginning of your single. Next up is the Australian version of a very vignetted Livvy there with Suddenly. Now, I suppose I could have put this with my Cliff Richard things, but decided not to. Looks like this has been out in the rain or something, or been in a steamer held over a kettle, because it looks a bit like it's got those kind of damp crinkles to it. Obviously the third single from Xanadu, at least with this one we got a decent picture sleeve though. Not like those terrible ones before. And speaking of Cliff and Livvy, we have UK pressing of Cliff and Livvy. So Cliff and Livvy have been pressed in the UK. Ooh. Oh, good on them. Oh my god, this promotes the cassette. Ooh. I haven't done that for a while. Maybe this is what happens when I take the Mickey out of cassettes. This cassette. Flogging a cassette. That's what happens when you suddenly take the Mickey out of a cassette. And next up, we've got the song that brought her back, Physical. Brought her back, but you know. And it's kind of, you look at that and think, my goodness me, that looks extremely backbreaking, doesn't it? You sort of just think, how can somebody do something like that? Alvin Stardust foot. Look at my shitty slipper, hey? That'll fling off towards the camera. Oh, now my knee wants to cramp. I'm only taking the Mickey. So yeah, it was to sort of take away from how sexual the lyrics were. That's why she did the clip, you know, with the guys. But then they, at the end of the clip, they were gay guys and sort of went hand in hand with one another. They obviously decided to get physical behind closed doors. In fact, if you look at the clip to Physical, it was kind of like a similar design with the Rolling Stones' She's So Cold video. And there's a Kim Wilde, there's a couple videos that had that same kind of background set. Not the same colours, but the same kind of background to it, which is... maybe the director of the video thought, oh, that's a good idea. Let's use it with some others as well. Next up, we have the UK pressing to Make a Move on Me. Yes. That looks so uncomfortable, and she kind of looks like she's a bit uncomfortable there too. It looks like it's, not only does she look uncomfortable, she looks really cold. But that was a great follow-up single to Physical. It was really, really good. On the flip side of this, she still looks cold, and I don't want to know what's going on there. Maybe she's sort of looking over, there's Tarzan, I'll look like Jane. But it's kind of like the two LPs there. You've got one with Physical, where she's like, and then the other side, you've got her greatest hits flogging most of her country stuff. Maybe it's to sort of showcase her entire, well, it would have been to showcase her entire repertoire. Next up, we've got UK pressing of Landslide. Same kind of idea of, it looks like she threw off that white dress and decided to dive into the river, doesn't it? Has the headband there, that's a very Jane Fonda type thing. So instead of jazzercise, we could call it livercise. Oh no, actually that sounds terrible. Sounds like you're sort of like going for a night on the town and sort of quaffing back a few, and it's sort of like liver size. Increase the size of your liver. Oh. But the other side there, I don't know who looks happier, her or the dolphin. Whatever it is, they're enjoying each other's company, that's for sure. Either that or the photo we saw after was her fervently swimming away from the dolphin, or vice versa. Next up, we've got Heart Attack. Now, there's something kind of, I got to admit, when I first saw the cover to this, I kind of thought she's so almost kind of karaoke-like with that microphone. She's clearly just going... I mean, I like the colour scheme and everything with that lavender purple and the flat lining and stuff, but that photo is just so unconvincing. So totally unconvincing. The other side's probably a smidge more convincing, but it's still very much kind of, well, obviously taken on the same photo session, I guess. But no, both sides still looks like she's just going... Lucky last, with the picture sleeve singles, we have a bit of twist of fate. Very Madonna. But the thing is, this would have been Madonna before it was Madonna. So we could almost argue that Madonna got this look from Livvy. Very good. Very, very good. Though you can sort of think that on the other side she's being very sort of old school movie star, maybe? Don't know. Whatever it was a twist of fate. Anyway, that's it for part 2 of which should have been part 1, but like I said in the intro. Anyway, if you did like this, thank you very much for watching, and please do all the likes and subscribes and the bells and whistles and all that sort of stuff, and sort of having a bit of a physical as well. Did I just knock the dog off? Oh, I did. Hang on a sec. That's what happens when you get physical. Anyway, I probably knocked it off when I was doing it. It's probably been off the thing for most of it. I haven't checked. Anyway, please do the likes and the subscribes and the bells and the whistles, and I won't knock him off this time. Which you could take for another thing. I'd knock him off. And thank you very much for watching. Please take care of yourself, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one. Ciao. I'm sorry, puppy. Yeah, he wants to turn it off.